Hi, we're Blenderstyle. On this episode, we got dressed to confess our feelings for this album, Powerwolf, Call of the Wild, released in 2022 on Napalm Records.
I thought it was undressed to confess. Cheers, gentlemen.
Well, it is undressed.
We get cancel cultured if we were undressed. So I came across a Powerwolf song a few years back, Demons Are a Girl's Best Friend, and thought it was really weird and cool at the same time. And so never really got onto the Powerwolf bandwagon. Liked it, liked a few of their singles here and there, but never really listened to a full album. We went to Wacken this year, and they headlined the one of the night, I think the final night there. And I caught them live, and they played 2 or 3 songs to start with off of this album. And I was like, just play the songs I know. But I walked away from that because I bailed out of there kind of early to not get stuck in the crowd. And they were stuck in my head like the whole rest of the week I was over there. And so I figured, you know what, let's just give this album a try and see what it's about. Are you familiar with the Wolf of Power?
Casey, why do you pick this shit, man? I don't. You've picked other like power metal stuff, and fuck, it's good, dude. It's really good. Like, you sent it to me, and the first thing that jumped out was Dancing with the Dead. I'm like, I've heard this. Like, it was very familiar. And then I remember you sent it to us in the group chat.
Yeah, I think, because the single came out before the album, I want to say.
Yeah, so I remember hearing that. Yeah, it was like earlier.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing that song. And I don't typically like this music, but this is good, dude.
It's really catchy. They know how to write a hook, is what it is.
Definitely. The first album I heard by them all the way through was Blood of the Saints.
Okay. Which
I think is a decent record. And the first time I ever heard them was from you, Casey. We were here, we were drinking beers, and we were talking about, power metal and, heavy metal.
Which you
and
I
stuff.
kind of are fans of the power metal.
Exactly. And you played them for me, and I enjoyed them. And I still continue to go back to that album.
Okay.
And I haven't really listened to anything else by them. And then, you pick this album, and I listened to it, and it's enjoyable, man.
It's very enjoyable.
It reminds me of... so there's like different levels of power metal, I'm starting to find out.
Yeah.
There's like the high pitch, like more... like Hammerfall. We reviewed a Hammerfall album.
Yeah,
and
which is more along the lines of the 80s power metal.
Correct. Yeah. And then there's bands that use this vocal style. You know what's funny is I was listening to it in the car, and my girlfriend goes, "Is this that history metal band you were listening to?" I'm like, "No, it's not Sabaton, but it does sound a lot like Sabaton."
Yeah, and I figured this would be kind of right up there because I know you claim to not like power metal, but you like Sabaton.
I did like that Sabaton album.
And I figured this would be kind of right up your alley because it's pretty similar. Sabaton sings a lot about war. Powerwolf sings a lot about holy war.
Yeah, and like wolves, vampires, and other things.
Yeah,
it's very theatrical.
It is, and their stage show is really cool too.
So this sounds like I'm gonna pick my old lady up, take her out to a steak dinner, dress nice, and go to this operatic show. That's what this sounds like.
But with sleeves that have like doilies on them.
Oh yeah.
the ruffled sleeves.
Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise are totally there. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
I get it.
This is definitely this is power metal, but also just like a heavy metal feel to it.
It is.
Like
Maybe
a melodic heavy metal
it's
feel.
Just heavy
I don't
metal.
get too much power metal from it. Especially this record. What I like about this album compared to the album I mentioned before, Blood of the Saints, is the symphonic parts.
Exactly.
They're way up in the forefront of this album.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. I really love the symphonic parts and the guitar riffs. They're memorable guitar riffs.
They are.
Like, if you can sing along to the words, and sing along to the guitar riff, you're doing something right.
They're super catchy. They use like these vocal patterns that almost follow the guitar.
Like
tone.
Dancing with the Dead does that a lot. And it gets stuck in
a
your
little
head.
too much though. That song is.
And then they add these like over the top production choir kind of background vocals and stuff at the points and
it supports the chorus and stuff.
It really gets like stuck, like earworms itself into your head, and you catch yourself like, I need to hear that part again. And I'll go with you because they repeat those parts over and over, almost to excess on some parts.
It's a little too simplistic, right, and predictable, but it not is, so bad that it bothers. It's not repetitive.
Yeah, well,
not too bad.
Not too bad. I think by the time it starts getting repetitive, they're closing.
Yeah,
it out.
These songs are all like 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah, they're not too bad,
and they all end with the same tom roll. Like 5 songs do that.
I think this album was just full of them trying to write singles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
So the fact that they're just writing these singles that are like radio hits that will never be played on the radio, it starts to kind of sound the same, you know? Because the radio starts to sound the same.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of one of the bad things of this album is like they really tried to drive home that like...
They're trying to write singles.
Exactly.
And they threw in like a ballad or whatever.
Yeah, like this album's kind of weird. Like it like starts out strong as hell and then kind of a little weird tracks like in the middle, and then it comes back again. You know?
I like the variety in it though.
I for sure. It needs to be that way. It's like a play.
It for sure doesn't.
Literally.
Literally, it's like
it is. It's very theatric. It's very over the the production is over the top in this, but never in like a cheesy, overproduced sounding way.
Oh, did they? I'm guessing they sound just like this live.
Oh, dude, they sounded great live, and they did this really cool thing where their whole backdrop was like an animated thing, and so I was watching them, and I was like, is the background moving? And it like tripped me out because I was kind of drunk when I was watching it already. Anyway, but
you better have been.
A warm German beer.
It was cold.
Yeah,
it was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool German beer.
It was cold and cool.
So to kind of touch on Nathan's thing about all these being singles, they do videos. I think there's like a video for what, 4 or 5 songs, 3 or 4 songs on this.
Really? I only saw the one for Dancing with the Dead.
I think they did another one for Undress to Confess.
That's a cool song.
And
there's a lot of good songs on this. This album's a jammer.
There's even
a
ballad on here that's just sick as fuck. Like,
but the videos are good. Like, there's never anything like crazy weird going on. It's usually just them with a bunch of half-naked girls dancing around them.
Yeah.
Tight.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. In like a mansion.
Yeah.
Everything's like Victorian
it's like very
style.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, dude.
They're like, oh God, I got to leave my apartment to go film in this.
But they're really
mansion.
good. And their singer's voice is super commanding. And he's got a really,
I agree.
He's got a really great range. Like, even his highs are good. And
what highs though?
Yeah,
it's kind of like mid-range the whole time.
Yeah,
like
but
Sabaton.
he carries his note kind of like how Sabaton does. He could carry his note from like a low register to a higher register to close it out, and it doesn't get raspy or anything. I'm not going to say it's like it doesn't get high like screamo high or
Hammerfall
or somebody's grabbing your nuts high, but it does get up there and it's really good.
Like down here or like down here.
Yeah. And their keyboard player is very all over the place.
Yeah.
Even on the live shows. He'll come off of his stand and come down and like do the movements and like
does he have a keytar?
Like no, but like he's calling, like he's tempting people to, like he's trying to draw people in kind of thing. It's a weird like thing that they do where
it's probably choreographed, right?
It's I don't know if it's choreographed, but it seems like it, and it's really cool to watch.
Because they're almost like doing like a stage play.
Yeah.
This is exactly what it is. Like it's definitely music, but they're also showmen at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, they're in,
it's a show.
They're in different outfits and different costumes for each album. There's different lyrical themes for each album. So I also think that's really cool that I bet they get excited for every new album run, They're like, oh, what are we going to do this time, So I like that keeps things interesting. And I love that, I feel like they're getting better.
I feel like that too. So I was reading some, not reviews, but like some like previews of this album, and they were saying that this is probably one of their best albums since their second or third album. And I went back and listened to that album that I think it was on the Metal Encyclopedia or whatever, and looking at the fan ratings for the best rated one, and they rated this right up there with, I think it was like their third album.
Yeah, they let it.
But I went back and listened to it. I think this is 100 times better than that.
I didn't go back and listen to the other stuff. It's not really my jam.
It's not your jam yet.
I will tell you, I was going to say, you're getting me into this genre of music. You know the right albums to pick.
Yeah, I just got to get you with a catchy hook.
This album's a jammer, dude. It's
is.
I listened. It's, you know what it is? If someone, like, after listening to this so much, if I'm like hanging out with the bros, like you guys, and you're like, hey, you guys want to listen to Powerwolf? I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a good, like, party band.
4 weeks ago, you were like, hell no.
Like,
I definitely remember you being like, "Oh, what are our picks?" And Casey was like, "Powerwolf," and Matt was
I
like,
dissed it immediately.
You did, yeah.
And then I listened to it, and the very first time I listened to it, I'm like, "Oh, dude, it's good."
And see,
this is what I like about you, Matt. Though you are very honest.
I try to be.
You're very honest. Well, I mean, that's what we're supposed to be doing, but you're very honest, and you'll admit
when something
you know what I mean,
better than you expect.
That's a good thing.
I hate to admit it, but it is good.
And I have to agree with you too. Like the first time because I hadn't heard this whole album. Like I was, like I said, when I saw them over in Germany, I was like, oh, they're playing all these new songs. I don't know any of these songs because I hadn't listened to this album yet. And I walked away and they were stuck in my head. And whenever I picked this album and I put it in the first time, I was like, instantly, it was great. I was surprised at how much I actually liked it compared to what I thought. I thought it was going to be something that had to grow on me.
Nothing overstays its welcome here.
No, it doesn't. And it's really cool. Even the meanings on these songs, like there's like hidden meaning in a lot of these songs. Like I was reading the Faster Than the Flame is about the burning of heretics.
The opening track, right?
Yeah. Was like
banger,
a burning of heretics back in the day, and how even though like, you know, the monarch or the monarchy or whatever thought they were ending these rumors being spread and stuff and this uprising, really what they were doing was creating this lore that spread faster than fire.
That's kind of cool.
By the word of mouth for, you know, talking about these heretics that were supposedly, you know.
I should probably read the lyrics.
Yeah, and I
more.
just started reading the lyrics like yesterday because, like I said, I've been busy and I haven't really had time. So when I just kind of looked at that, I was like, oh, well, that's crazy. I don't even know how to Globenscroft is about.
That's a cool song.
Is about the Catholic Church and the cover-ups that they were doing and how the band doesn't
dark
and how they're still doing.
Yeah, and how they're still doing it and how they don't agree with it. Like how the band's like, we don't agree with it. It's.
So I didn't know this was that deep. It doesn't seem that deep when I listen to it.
No, and that's the thing. So it's fun. So you could
fun.
You could listen to this and never understand the meaning of it, and it'd be just as good. Or you could deep dive into it, and there's a lot of extra
So there's like more to this.
Yeah, there's a lot of extra stuff to it.
Even though it's like easy to consume the first time.
Oh yeah, I mean it's easy to consume like the first time through the 300,000th time.
And I think you definitely hit it on the nose, man. Like this is just fun.
Oh yeah,
like I want to go see this live. Like
this would be an awesome live. I'm envious.
Oh, it's a headbanger, man.
Say that Powerwolf is actually playing their first show in the United States in February.
We gotta go.
Are they touring in California?
It's in New York.
No, not happening.
That's
not for me, at least.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk you
I'll have
to
3
let
month.
me get tickets and go.
I'll have a 3 month.
So these guys are from Sweden, right?
No, Germany.
Germany, yeah.
Oh, they're from Germany.
Yeah, so they actually, it is their first show in the United States. You're saying?
I think that's what I read.
Yeah, because what's crazy is what album is this?
They're
Call of the Wild.
No, but. What number album? They've had quite a few albums.
Yeah.
And for what I read, like they haven't been, No, they're
like Sabaton. Sorry. They're huge over in Europe, and they're like one of the big draws. You know, like Sabaton closed out Hellfest a couple years back.
And they headlined that stage in at Wacken.
Yeah, these guys did this last year. Yeah, whatever white folk American call it.
Mm-hmm.
Wacken.
It's a big festival where you're whacking.
So, what are you guys' some of your favorite songs off this? Because I like Dancing
with the Dead. and Faster Than the Flame.
I think I know exactly where you're going with this because I feel like I have a hard time picking a favorite because they're all that good.
Yeah, and this kind of somewhat of a small beef with me is it's just almost too much like they're trying to like hook, and how much is feeling.
There's not.
That's my only kind of dislike with
like
this.
There's a lack of emotion.
Yeah,
kinda.
it's like Avril Lavigne. You know what I mean? It's like it's feel good music. It's.
I think
I don't want to compare
Skater
to Avril
Boy
Lavigne.
touches my heart. I'm
well,
joking.
but I'm with you. I feel like because there's
The Skater Boy once touched my heart.
because there's a there's a lack of things to criticize about this.
It's kind of safe, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you compare it to their other albums,
Besides those bagpipes in the beginning,
it's fairly similar. I mean, yeah, they got the great keyboard, the great synth, they got the organ in the background. Barkalok has that boom boom in the background kind of thing going on, and there's just
You said Varkalok, and it's already in my head again.
exactly. It's so good and there's so little to criticize. It almost, like Nathan said, it's almost like, did they play this safe or did they really take their time and like drill in on this and like really, really try? Because the other thing is I'm kind of with you on this, Nathan. All their other albums are really good too. I don't know if they're this good, but I feel like they're just kind of like this machine that just, if they tune and they tune and they tune and they tune and they get better every time, are they going to get to a point where it's just like, is it even worth listening
No,
to?
I'd rather hear them take some risks. This sounds like, I think you're right. They're trying to write hits off this.
Yeah.
Singles.
I think the heavy symphonic stuff is kind of a risk. Because, I mean, I don't know their whole discography very well, but I've listened to other songs and a couple other albums, and the symphonic parts are real heavy in this album.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that.
And
I
they're
hope
really
they,
up front.
Yeah.
That's true. Maybe that's where they're kind of like trying to do
maybe
something
stepping out. I don't know.
But maybe
you know?
this is them like finding their sound and really just kind of polishing
drilling it in. Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
So I was reading, I don't remember which song it was because I didn't write it in my notes, but either Call of the Wild or Sermon of Swords.
Sermon of Swords is dope.
They said in an interview that they felt the need to have a fast song on the album. And so they threw it on there. And so maybe that kind of touches where you're at. They tried to cover all those bases and make something that has at least a little bit of something for everybody. Even if you don't like power metal, there's something in here you're going to like.
Oh, I'd love to hear these guys like up the tempo 20 BPM
yeah,
or
because
something.
like when they kick in like the double bass and stuff in the back and stuff, they're really great. It's really good.
Also, some of these riffs, like I said earlier, are really memorable and kind of like demanding and strong.
Yeah.
Some of these riffs, you know what I mean? And I think that's one of my dislikes is that I love the heavy symphonic stuff, but at the same time, I think sometimes that drowns out some of the actual guitar parts.
Okay.
And that kind of like weirds me out. It's not a
big down.
Not a deal breaker, but
it's not a deal breaker at all. But I wish I kind of heard a little bit more the guitar driven stuff, the band, you know what I mean? Like obviously they're not touring around with a symphony.
No.
And it's just a guy on a keyboard, right?
Right.
Probably some laptops and stuff, But
if they don't lose them.
Fucking falling in reverse.
That was so good.
So I just I like it, but I also want to hear like more of the rockiness, more of the heavy metal, you know what I mean? I think it's kind of lacking the heavy metal and a little too far on the ballet side.
Okay.
I don't want to wear tights and go to a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to drink a beer and headbang. And this has definitely got some headbang and stuff on it, but that's just kind of one of my, like, if, I got to say something bad about it, it would definitely be that it gets a little Disney, a little too, like, I would play this to a 4 or 5 year old, you know what I mean?
This would be a great entry drug to metal.
Heavy metal, for sure.
It's kind of what Casey was saying. It's like hard to really criticize this too much. There's not much to hate about it.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, but with that being said, what do you guys want to rate it?
I give it a 3.6 out of 5.
Oh,
okay.
It's really good. It's easy to listen to, but it doesn't blow me away.
But you got to add a 3.6 for Matt, who doesn't like power metal.
Dude, I thought he was going to give it like a 2.1.
That's what I thought too. That's actually pretty good.
It started like kind of maybe a 3.3. but after like I kind of stepped away from it for a few days and then put it on again, I was like, this is fucking good.
Yeah.
It's like easy to just put on and jam through.
So with that being said, was this something that you think that, you know, taking some time away from it and coming back to it, you know, like you said, at a party or something, would this get higher on would this be something that you would put into your everyday rotation?
That's a good question. I think it is. So it's probably a 3.3 because I was listening to it over and over and over again, right? And really like dissecting it.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot here.
Yeah.
But when I put it away and just like played it once and just
took it for what it was.
Yeah, to me, this is like party music.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not very sophisticated. I mean, they're doing like symphonic. Maybe the lyrics are deeper, but I'm not really a lyrics guy. I don't know if it's going to go higher than a 3.6, but like in 10 years, if someone puts it on, I'm like, oh yeah, this album's fucking good. Okay. That's a 3.6 for me.
Nice.
It's a 3.0 for me.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I like this better than you.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think this is a solid record. The only bad things I have to say about it is it gets a little too Disney for me. It gets a little too nice, a little too kind. But that's what I expect in a Powerwolf album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Know it going
so
in.
yeah, like this isn't like my favorite type of music either. This isn't something I always listen to, but I enjoy this stuff. Yeah. I really do. But yeah, it's a 3.0. And I think the next album, if they keep continuing to go in this, you know, they just came out with some new singles. I haven't listened to them yet.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they just came out with some new singles.
Okay.
So, which is also cool that they're persistent.
Yeah. Yeah, because this came out, last year?
Yeah, 2021.
They're already putting out new stuff. That's pretty good.
So, but yeah, just a 3.0, but not in a bad way. I think it's a good, solid record, and you should definitely check them out. Yeah.
Good pick. What'd you rate it, Casey?
I give this 4.8 out of 5.
Whoa.
This album to me was amazing. I think it's probably my favorite Powerwolf album. I haven't listened to them all. Like I said, I listened to the one with the one with that first video I sent you guys. I forgot the name of it.
We'll put it on screen.
And then I listened to that one that everybody said was the highest rated, like twice, and I think this was better to me. This is kind of right up my alley. The slower songs are even good. And
I like the ballads.
I feel like I'm in the same boat that you were in when we were reviewing these and listening to them. I had this on repeat with the other songs we had on our list, and it was kind of getting played out. Not necessarily like in a bad way, but just like, okay, cool, I've heard it enough now. And I stepped away for a day or so and came back to it, and that's what upped it. It was probably a 4 to me, and then it went to a 4.8 coming back to it because it was just so good that it got me like pumped and in the mood to do stuff. And
it's one of the reasons I don't like XM radio, because like the metal stations play the same singles over and over again because it's radio.
Yeah.
I feel like one of these songs would pop up in there and I'd like it the first couple times and then it would start to bug me.
Yeah, but then you go back and listen to it, a few weeks later or something like, oh, that was really good song. And that's kind of how I feel about this. It's really good. I think I would take it more in a not continuous play, like on my rotation. It's a 4.8 if I listen to it, every couple weeks or something. It's a great album.
And I think you made a good point. It's like it's good for non-metal heads to get into it.
It's a great entry. Like even my wife was likes this album. And usually if it's a new album and it's like fast and loud, especially when it's in the car because the stereo sounds like shit, she's like, turn this crap off. But this was, the production and the mixing and everything was so good that it sounded good.
Yeah, production's good.
So 4.8 for me.
Wow.
Yeah, so great album to me. And if you guys want to check them out live and you're in the United States, February 23rd in New York City, they're going to be playing. Check them out if you get a chance.
And let us know what else we should review. Leave a comment.
This is Blenderstyle. That was Powerwolf, Call of the Wild.
Ow!